Arjun was like many of us. He had dreams that could light up the sky, dreams of building a career, making his family proud, and living a life where his potential was fully realized. Every night before he went to bed, he imagined himself as a successful person, respected and admired. His heart would beat faster just thinking about the possibilities. But when the morning came, reality told a different story. Instead of chasing his goals, Arjun often found himself trapped in the comfort of laziness. He would say, "I'll start tomorrow." Tomorrow became next week, and next week turned into months. He convinced himself that he had plenty of time, that success could wait, that one more hour of scrolling on his phone wouldn't matter. But in truth, every passing minute was stealing a piece of his dream. At first, Arjun didn't notice the damage. Laziness feels harmless in the beginning. Skipping one study session, missing one workout, delaying one application, these seemed like small things. But little by little, the habit grew. It became easier to sleep in, easier to avoid challenges, easier to let opportunities slip away. What he didn't realize was that laziness was quietly destroying the very foundation of his future. There was a time when his mentor, a close friend who believed in him deeply, warned him. "Arjun, every dream demands action. If you keep waiting for the right moment, that moment will never come." Arjun listened politely, nodded, and promised to do better. But when the sun rose the next day, nothing changed. He slipped back into the same cycle of delay and comfort. Slowly, the cracks in his life became visible. His classmates, once equal to him, began moving ahead. They secured jobs, they built skills, they created networks. Arjun, however, was still waiting for someday. Invitations to interviews came, but he wasn't prepared. He told himself, "I'll get ready next time." Next time never came. With every failure, frustration grew. He would look in the mirror and ask himself, "Why am I still stuck here?" Deep down, he knew the answer. It wasn't luck, it wasn't fate, it wasn't that life was unfair, it was laziness. That quiet, comfortable enemy had stolen his time, his focus, his effort. And the worst part? He had allowed it. There were nights when Arjun couldn't sleep. He thought about the dreams he once had, the future he once saw so clearly. He imagined himself speaking confidently in a meeting, starting his own business, or becoming the person his younger self dreamed of being. But those images faded like smoke, because the truth was painful. He hadn't taken the steps to get there. The more he delayed, the heavier the guilt became. Regret began whispering to him, "What if you're too late? What if the world moves on and leaves you behind?" These thoughts pierced him like arrows, but instead of standing up and fighting back, he often silenced them with distractions. Hours wasted on entertainment, endless scrolling, meaningless conversations, he used them all to escape the uncomfortable truth. Arjun's story, at this point, was not unique. Many of us live this same struggle. We have the vision, we feel the passion, but when it's time to act, laziness locks us in its cage. It's not loud or violent, it doesn't scream at us. It simply whispers, "Relax, you can do it later." And slowly, without us realizing, later turns into never. By the time Arjun began to see how much he had lost, the weight of regret was almost unbearable. The friendships he neglected, the skills he didn't build, the doors that had closed, each one was a reminder of what laziness had taken from him. His dreams, once bright and alive, were now shadows in the distance. And deep down, he began to wonder if they could ever return. One evening, after another day wasted in distractions, Arjun sat alone in his room. The silence was heavy. His phone was in his hand, but for the first time, scrolling brought him no comfort. He looked around at the unfinished books, the untouched plans, the dreams written in his old journal. A deep sadness filled him. He realized something terrifying: laziness had not only stolen his time, it had stolen his life. In that moment, a memory came to him. His mentor's words echoed, "Every dream demands action. If you keep waiting for the right moment, that moment will never come." For the first time, Arjun felt the weight of those words. He thought, what if I never wake up from this comfort? What if my dreams die before I even try? That night, he made a decision. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't loud. It was a quiet promise whispered to himself, no more waiting. I start now. The next morning, his alarm rang. For years, he would have pressed snooze, rolled over, and told himself he had more time. But this time, he sat up. His body resisted, his mind screamed for comfort, but his heart reminded him of his promise. With shaky steps, he began. He didn't transform overnight. At first, his progress was small, studying for 1 hour, practicing one skill, refusing to waste the morning. Laziness still tempted him. It whispered, skip today, do it tomorrow. But now, Arjun had learned its voice. He recognized it as the same voice that had destroyed his past. And each time he chose action, he grew stronger. Weeks passed. Slowly, things changed. His energy returned. Confidence began to shine in his eyes again. The same people who once doubted him now noticed his effort. Small victories came: an exam passed, a project completed, a skill mastered. These victories were like bricks, and brick by brick, he was rebuilding the house of his dreams. His mentor, seeing the change, smiled. This is the real you, Arjun. Discipline has unlocked what laziness had buried. For the first time, Arjun felt hope again. He realized success wasn't about massive leaps, it was about small, consistent steps, repeated daily, no matter how he felt. The greatest transformation, however, was not just in his actions, it was in his mindset. Arjun stopped waiting for motivation. He learned that motivation is fragile, but discipline is strong. He stopped saying, I'll start tomorrow, and replaced it with, I'll do it now. And with every day he showed up, his dreams came closer. Months later, Arjun looked back. The regrets that once haunted him had turned into lessons. The pain of wasted time was still there, but now it pushed him forward instead of holding him back. He had finally understood the truth: laziness destroys, but discipline builds. Laziness kills dreams, but action revives them. And that is the lesson his story leaves behind for us all. We all have two choices: stay in the comfort of laziness and watch our dreams fade, or fight back with discipline and see our dreams come alive. Every great life begins with a single step taken in the present moment. If you are listening to this, remember, your dream is waiting for you, but it cannot survive without your action. Don't wait for the perfect day, because it will never come. Don't let laziness be the thief of your destiny. Stand up today, take one small step, and protect your dream before it slips away. Because one day, you will thank yourself for starting now. And one day, the world will see the person you always had the potential to become.